The squat is perhaps the most performed exercise in the world. So it shouldn't surprise you that my first collaboration with Prime was something for the squat, the solo wedges. The solo wedges are a heel elevation that allowed users to get more range of motion or increase the amount of quad bias in their squat. Today, I'm proud to announce the next step in innovation for squats, and that is the Prime Super Squat Bar. One of the benefits of a safety squat type bar is the fact that you don't have to reach back and hold the barbell, that you get handles out in front of you and the load comes across your shoulders. Some people prefer a high, close to them grip, while other people would prefer a lower grip. The problem with the lower grip is it requires long handles that can then run into your quads or your legs as you're doing a deep squat or a narrow type squat. So what I did is I designed handles that not only had a place to grab high and low, but we angled those handles out, which allowed them to clear the legs when we were doing quad dominant type squats, which is what you would use this type of bar for. In addition to that, just providing clearance for your legs, it's also placing your arms in a place where it's more natural for them to stabilize, so you feel more stable through your trunk and your back as you're loading your hips. The safety squat style bar uses a camber to displace the load in front of you, kind of like a front squat, while the bar is still being placed on your back. I chose a modest camber because what can happen with a camber that's too aggressive is the load gets too far out in front of you, and then the limitation becomes your ability to stabilize that load. So you're putting more load on your spine and creating more of a stability challenge in your upper back to be able to manage the load as it gets further out in front. Having a load that is a little bit more centered to the body but still further forward than a barbell adds to the versatility of the bar and the different ways that you can utilize it. Now, if the design would have stopped at better handle design and just picking a good camber, this probably would have been called the Prime Safety Squat Bar. But the reason it's called the Prime Super Squat Bar is because the goal of this bar wasn't to make a better safety squat bar. The goal of this bar was to really make a bar that could optimize your lower body training and decrease the amount of fatigue and strain that you'd be placing on the upper body. To accomplish that, we use the innovation that I'm the most proud of, which is this self-aligning back plate rather than just a padded bar across your back. What this does, combined with this entire contraption here, is it displaces the load lower onto your spine, meaning that you're not loading as high up on the spine, and it also disperses the load across your back to a greater area than what you would get from just a bar or a padded bar running across your back. A typical safety bar will have the load dispersed and displaced right at the same height as the shoulder pads, which means it's actually higher up your neck than a barbell, higher than a high bar squat even. And as you bend forward, that load wants to roll up your neck. So if you're doing hingy type squats, then it becomes very uncomfortable and extremely unstable. With this, as you hinge over, the load actually is going to feel like it's moving down, so it's going to become easier for your back in a way because you're loading less of the spine and you're placing the load on a stronger portion of your spine over a greater area of your back as well. So it really decreases the amount of fatigue and strain that you're going to get on your erectors and your trunk and the effort that you're going to have to put into stabilizing, and really allows you to maximize your ability to just push and drive with your legs and maximize the stimulus there. So that's really what makes this super, is this bar is set up to be able to capitalize on how much effort and stimulus you can drive through the lower body and decrease the amount of strain and fatigue on the upper body. And this is definitely an improvement on anything else, because there are ways to move the load down the spine, whether it's a low bar squat or there's other bars that have pads that come down and they go lower, but they do that while also displacing the load back as well. So not only does this do that job of decreasing the load on the spine, it does so while allowing us to still keep the load forward, allowing for that more upright position, allowing for us to do more quad bias squats or hingy squats or whatever type of squats we want. It allows us to maintain the versatility that we would get from a really good safety squat style bar while also having the load displaced in a way that allows us to get more stimulus in our lower body and less stress in our upper body. So the thing that really makes this super isn't just the fine things of better grip, which definitely is important. It makes the bar more comfortable, it makes it more versatile, it makes it fit more people. The camber is definitely in a place where you can get more uses out of this bar, especially when you combine it with heel wedges. But this back plate design here is going to be a game changer for you in terms of getting the most output of your squat, and that's why it's called the Super Squat Bar.